The Battle of Badr, the first decisive battle in Islamic history. Cause of the battle. As previously noted, during the expedition to Al-Ashara, a Quraysh caravan narrowly avoided an encounter with the Prophet, PBUH, and his companions. When news came that the caravan was returning from Syria, the Prophet, PBUH, sent Talha bin Ubaydullah and Sa'id bin Zayd to the north to gather intelligence. The two scouts stationed themselves at Al-Hura and eventually spotted the caravan led by Abu Sufyan. They quickly returned to Medina and relayed the report to the Prophet, PBUH. The caravan carried enormous wealth, estimated at 50,000 gold dinars, and was lightly guarded by only 40 men. It was moving close to Medina, making it a strategic and valuable target. Striking the caravan offered the Muslims a chance to recover the wealth they had lost in Mecca and to deliver a significant economic and political blow to the Quraysh. The Prophet, PBUH, encouraged his followers to go out and intercept the caravan, though he did not issue a compulsory call to arms. It was left to individual choice, as the mission initially appeared to be a limited and simple raid. The Muslim force comprised approximately 300 to 317 men, 82 to 86 emigrants, 61 from the tribe of Aws, and 170 from Khazraj. The army was poorly equipped. They had only 2 horses, owned by Az-Zubair bin al-Awwam and al-Miqdad bin al-Aswad, and 70 camels, which were shared by pairs or trios. The Prophet, PBUH, himself, along with Ali and Murthid bin Abi Murthid, shared a single camel. Before departing, the Prophet, PBUH, left Ibn Maktum in charge of Medina, later replacing him with Abu Lubaba bin Abdul Mundir. Musa bin Umair was assigned as the general standard-bearer, and the army's flag was white. The army was divided into 2 primary battalions. The emigrants, whose standard was held by Ali bin Abi Talib, and the helpers, whose standard was given to Sa'd bin Mu'adh. Az-Zubair bin al-Awwam commanded the right flank, al-Miqdad bin Amr led the left, and Qays bin Abi Sa'sa'ah was in charge of the rear. Overall command, of course, rested with the Prophet, PBUH. The Prophet, PBUH, led the Muslim forces southward on the main route toward Mecca. Upon reaching Az-Safra, he veered toward Badr and sent 2 scouts ahead to locate the caravan. Meanwhile, Abu Sufyan, aware of the threat, remained highly cautious. Suspecting Muslim ambushes, he instructed his own scouts to monitor the Prophet's movements. When informed of the Muslim plans, he took swift action. To protect the caravan, he dispatched Damdam bin Amr al-Ghifari to urgently call upon the Quraysh of Mecca for reinforcements. The messenger raced swiftly to Mecca in a state of panic. As he neared the city, he dismounted abruptly before Al-Kaaba, mutilated the nose and ears of his camel, flipped its saddle upside down, tore his shirt from both front and back, and cried out dramatically, "O Quraysh! Your trade goods are in grave danger. Abu Sufyan's caravan is being intercepted by Muhammad, PBUH, and his followers. I don't know what fate has befallen them. Come to their aid. Hurry." The dramatic plea had an immediate and electrifying effect. The news shocked the Quraysh and brought back memories of their humiliation when the Muslims previously intercepted the Al-Hadrami caravan. Enraged, they wasted no time in summoning their full strength. Nearly everyone responded, except Abu Lahab, who sent a substitute in his place to repay a debt he was owed. In addition, the Quraysh stirred other Arab tribes into joining their campaign against the Prophet, PBUH. All clans agreed to participate except for Banu Adi. Very soon, a massive force of about 1,300 fighters, including 100 cavalry and 600 armored soldiers, supported by numerous camels, assembled to march toward the Muslims. For sustenance, they would slaughter 10 and 9 camels alternately each day. However, they feared that Banu Bakr, due to an old and bitter rivalry, might attack them from behind. At this tense moment, Iblis, Satan, appeared in the form of Suraka bin Malik bin Jusham al-Madlaji, the chief of Bani Kinana. He reassured them by saying, "I will guarantee your rear is secure, no harm will come from behind." Thus, driven by pride, fury, and a thirst for revenge, they set off with full determination to eliminate any threat to their trade routes. As the Quran described, boastfully and to be seen of men, and to hinder others from the path of Allah. Al-Quran 8:47. The Prophet, also remarked, "O Allah, these people are arrogant and proud, they come challenging you and your messenger." The Makkan army continued their advance toward Badr. Meanwhile, Abu Sufyan, learning of the Muslims' plan, smartly rerouted his caravan westward toward the Red Sea. By avoiding the main road, he successfully slipped past the Muslim forces and escaped unharmed. After securing the caravan, Abu Sufyan sent a message to the Quraysh urging them to call off the battle and return to Mecca, as their objective was now fulfilled. Many in the army favored this, considering their mission accomplished. However, Abu Jahl, in his arrogance and obstinacy, insisted they continue to Badr. He proposed staying 3 days to celebrate, feast, and display their dominance, aiming to teach the Muslims a lesson and reinforce the Quraysh's regional superiority. Despite his bluster, not all were convinced. Banu Zara, under the counsel of Al-Aknas bin Shuraiq, chose to withdraw and return to Mecca. From that time onward, Al-Aknas held great influence in the tribe and was widely obeyed in such matters. Advise me, my men, the Prophet was specifically addressing the helpers, Ansar. Understanding this, Sa'd bin Mu'adh, R.A., stood up and said, "By Allah, it seems you are referring to us, the helpers." The Prophet confirmed, "Yes, indeed." Sa'd replied, "O Messenger of Allah, we believe in you, affirm the truth you've brought, and testify that your message is the absolute truth. We have pledged to obey and support you with full sincerity. Whatever you command, we shall follow it without hesitation. By Allah, who sent you with the truth, if you ordered us to plunge into the sea, we would do so without hesitation, and not a single one of us would stay behind. We are not averse to meeting the enemy. We are skilled in battle and steadfast in warfare. We trust that Allah will allow you to witness our bravery and commitment with your own eyes. Let us, by Allah's command, and we are ready." This declaration deeply moved the Prophet, who was heartened by their loyalty and resolve during such a critical moment. He responded, "March ahead and rejoice. For Allah has promised me one of the two outcomes, either we seize the caravan or face the enemy in battle for his cause. And by Allah, it's as if I already see the enemy lying defeated before us." As they neared Badr, the Prophet, accompanied by Abu Bakr, R.A., went on a reconnaissance mission and discovered the Quraysh army's campsite. They encountered an elderly Bedouin and, through conversation, managed to gather detailed intelligence about the location and strength of the enemy. Later that evening, the Prophet sent Ali bin Abi Talib, R.A., Zubair bin al-Awwam, R.A., and Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, R.A., to gather more information. They found 2 young boys drawing water for the Quraysh army. When questioned, the boys truthfully said they were water carriers for Quraysh. Some Muslims, hoping they were linked to the caravan, beat the boys until they lied and claimed to be from the caravan. Upon hearing this, the Prophet became upset and said, "You beat them when they spoke the truth and released them when they lied." He then questioned the boys himself and confirmed critical details, the number of enemy soldiers, their location, and the names of key leaders. He turned to his companions and said, "Listen carefully, Quraysh has sent you their finest warriors." That night, rain fell on both camps. For the disbelievers, it made their advance difficult, for the Muslims, it was a mercy. It purified them spiritually, removed Satan's whispers, and helped stabilize the sandy terrain under their feet. This divine support uplifted their spirits. The Prophet then moved the army closer and encamped by the nearest spring of Badr. At this point, Al-Hubab bin al-Mundhir, R.A., respectfully asked the Prophet, "Was this spot chosen by divine command, or is it a strategic decision based on consultation?" Banu Hashim had also contemplated withdrawing from the Makkan army, but the intimidation of Abu Jahl forced them to abandon that thought. The remainder of the force, now numbering around 1,000 men, continued their advance toward Badr and eventually encamped on the far side of a sand dune known as Al-Adwat al-Qaswa. Meanwhile, the intelligence unit of the Muslim army brought urgent news to the Prophet. A direct and bloody confrontation with the Makkans was inevitable. Bold and decisive action was now necessary. If the Muslims delayed, the forces of disbelief might violate the sanctities of Islam, oppress its followers, and undermine the very cause they were fighting for. The Muslims feared that the pagan army of Quraysh could march on and launch their offensive right in Medina, the center of the Islamic movement. Such an outcome would not only physically endanger the city but also tarnish the reputation, dignity, and morale of the Muslims across Arabia. In light of these grave developments, the Prophet, convened an urgent military council to consult his companions, evaluate the threat, and discuss the appropriate response. Some believers were understandably overwhelmed by the impending clash and began to feel apprehensive. Regarding this hesitation, Allah revealed, "As your Lord brought you out from your home with the truth, though a party among the believers disliked it. They disputed with you concerning the truth after it was made clear to them, as if they were being driven to death while they looked on." Al-Quran 8:5-6. The Prophet, explained the seriousness of the situation and asked for their counsel. Abu Bakr, R.A., was the first to speak, reaffirming his full support and unwavering loyalty. Then came Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A., who echoed Abu Bakr's sentiments. Next, al-Miqdad bin Amr, R.A., stood up and declared with passion, "O Messenger of Allah! Move forward as Allah has instructed you. We are with you. We will never say, as the children of Israel said to Musa, you and your Lord go and fight, we will stay here. Rather, we will say, you and your Lord go and fight, we will fight right beside you. By Allah! Even if you lead us to Bark al-Gimad, we will go with you and fight your enemies until victory is achieved." The Prophet, was deeply touched by al-Miqdad's loyalty and made prayer, for him. However, all three speakers were from the Muhajirin, emigrants, who made up a smaller portion of the army. The Prophet, now turned to the Ansar, helpers, who formed the majority of the force and would carry the greatest burden of the battle. He particularly sought their input because the pledge of al-Aqaba they had made prior to his migration didn't explicitly bind them to military action outside of Medina. He then addressed them directly and said, "Give me your advice, O my people.